On this episode of the Carolina Sports Guy, we're gonna sickeningly look at this 27-21 Carolina Panther loss to the Washington Freakball team. Before we get into today's video, make sure you subscribe. It doesn't cost anything. Pound that like button. Hit that bell notification. Be notified of future videos like this on the Panthers. And by all means, folks, please leave me comments. I do love the dialogue. All right, folks, it's in the book. Chance for our Carolina Panthers to go 6-5. Have an opportunity to turn things around. In the playoffs right now as it would be. Start out pretty well. Now, I'm going to go ahead and separate the sugar from the shit. Cam Newton played well. Now, could he have played better? My God, the guy only had about 5 incompletions. 2 of them were catchable balls, and a couple balls were tipped. So I really did never see any really errant throws. His running was on point when he did run. It was wise with the decision. No turnover. I thought the offensive line could have gave him a little bit more time, but he wasn't sacked until the very last play that we had an opportunity to get a first down, and he went to scramble and was sacked for a loss. I think that's the only sack they got. Christian McCaffrey looked good running the ball. Even when Chuba Hubbard ran the ball, he looked good. I thought Robbie Anderson contributed a little, and so did Tommy Tremble catching the pass. But DJ Moore did his part. Ian Thomas even had a nice catch. The offense wasn't a problem today, folks. It's the freaking defense. Phil Snow, wake the freak up, man. I'm going to go ahead and tell you, I'm not impressed with Derek Brown today. You're a #1 draft pick, and you can't do any better than that. You're gashing us. You're running all through our line with these counter traps and everything else, and running the ball and doing all kinds of running backs and tight end blocking in the middle of the line. And we're not picking it up. They gashed us all day long running the freaking ball. You look at the first 3 or 4 games of the year, we look pretty damn solid. And we look like shit. They made it a long damn day. Third downs, they couldn't get off the damn field. McLaurin should have had somebody locked in on him. I know J.C. Horn ain't there, but didn't this a good time to play Stephon Gilmore on him, one-on-one? I'm sitting here thinking the secondary, Justin Burris. Now, I will say this about Justin Burris. A couple bonehead plays, but one, he turned his head away and separated the man from the ball. It was not a dirty hit, and they threw a freaking flag, and we would have got off the field on that play, and Washington wouldn't have scored. You don't think about things like that. Just like our offensive line a couple times getting false starts or holding, and it shuts the drive down because instead of 2nd and 5, you got 2nd and 15, and you end up with a 3rd and 3 at the end, and you don't convert. When if you would have had your 2nd and 5, you would have converted, and you kept the chains moving. We got ripped off. Every time I turn around, the refs are throwing blatant calls. I saw the Redskins hold, or when they want to call them the football team, hold just as much. Phil Snow, this is on you today. Jermaine Carter did not play well. Shaq Thompson's doing his job. But man, the defensive line up front, they're getting gashed. You got your Tua Gross-Matos, Marquise Haynes. Light defensive ends not doing their job. Brian Burns is disappearing. Gets in a little bit. Hassan Reddick is the one who gets a sack. It's not enough. I know Washington had a better line, offensive line. Hell, their defensive line was good today. We couldn't stop the run. And we couldn't stop McLaurin, the wide receiver. And if I hear one freaking Panther fan run their mouth because of freaking Taylor Heineke, I got a good memory. Heineke started 1 game for the Carolina Panthers. You know why? Because Cam Newton was hurt. Heineke starts a game. I think he either relieved Kyle Allen or Kyle Allen relieved him. Heineke started 1 game against Atlanta back a few years ago. He ended up getting sacked. Offensive line issue again. But he's so weak and nimble that when he fell, he planted on his wrist and broke his arm. Cried like a baby. Come back the next year after he's healed, he couldn't dethrone Kyle Allen as a 2nd string. We ended up cutting him. So he comes into the game motivated like he was Cam Newton. Dude, you started for us one game and didn't finish. You didn't do your job here. Going out there acting like you're something special. If our defensive ends and our line could stop the run and we could have got a pass rush, he wouldn't have had the time he had to throw the ball. Secondary didn't cover very well, leaving people open, missed assignments. A.J. Bouye, I saw that. Pathetic. A scrub-ass Washington team. Matt Rule, I'll be ashamed of yourself. Get out coached by Ron Rivera. I'm not glad about Rivera. I'm glad he's gone. I'm not impressed. So Washington can keep his sorry ass. Not impressed one bit with Ron Rivera. You know, it's just like Ron. He lost his job against Washington a couple of years ago in Carolina when Dave Tepper gave us these chances and he looked like shit and made excuses. Had Eric Washington as a defensive coordinator, had to take over because he didn't know what he was doing. Got beat by Washington. He wonders why he got fired. It's a terrible team and it cost us. Then last year, when Washington's got a chance with Ron into winning the division, we could lose and end up getting a top 3 or 4 draft pick, probably a quarterback. What do? We win the game because Ron can't game plan. So he's shitting our pants again. And then today when we need to win the game, Ron couldn't come through for us. He had to win. Because he's coming home to Bank of America, coming home against Cam. And I'm going to go ahead and tell the cameras right now, you can bash Cam Newton all you want to. The reason why Cam didn't win a Super Bowl and the reason why Cam Newton had to wear a tie and had to settle the game against Seattle was because of Ron freaking Rivera trying to be a head coach. Cam Newton carried your ass, man, to all those victories. I heard it down the telecast. Oh, Ron Rivera's the best coach in Panther history. Bullshit. He won 2 coaches of the year. If it wasn't for Kuechly in the gang and having Cam Newton as a quarterback, he wouldn't have done shit. Give him an average quarterback. He wouldn't have done shit. So he's on the sideline looking at a fucking ticking oak tree with his arms crossed. And Taylor Heineke just sitting out there, pumping his arm little ass self out like he's somebody special. And who else? Lo and behold, Joey freaking Sly couldn't make an extra freaking point. Cost us several games last year and the year before. And we kept you on. You get the preseason with no challenges. And you can't make shit. We had to replace you twice. And then you go out there because you nailed a couple game-winning field goals to prove a point. You ain't shit, Joey Sly. It's waiting a matter of time for you to shit in the bed. And the one people I want to freaking get on. I'm so freaking tired and pissed off about it. I'm the Carolina sports guy. So yeah, I'm representing the Hornets and, you know, whether it be Tar Heels or South Carolina Gamecocks or Clemson or Wake Forest or Appalachian State or East Carolina, or I'm talking MLS in Charlotte, or Major League Baseball comes to Carolinas, or I'm talking about the Carolina Hurricanes and the Carolina Panthers. I live in Carolina, so that's who I support. I'm tired of seeing all these freaking people that live out in Asheville or West Charlotte or Columbia, South Carolina or Edenton, North Carolina supporting the freaking Washington football team because your granddaddy grew up with his sorry asses 8-8 every year. Going to the game. But you can't fill up your damn stadium, FedEx Stadium. Pathetic. Have just as many freaking Washington jerseys in the stands. I'm glad I wasn't there. It made me sick. Cheering and hooting and hollering. And Cam did his part. He brought energy. Defense let us down. And that sick-ass crowd full of Washington fans. And you know who else was probably happy today? That stupid-ass Dale Earnhardt Jr. I don't think you're Dale Earnhardt Sr.'s son, boy. You know why? Because he was a man. You own shit. You lived off your daddy's name, and you're a Redskin, a Washington fan. Living in Charlotte. You ought to extradite your ass and move your ass to Northern Virginia. Carry your ass. That's why I don't watch you, Earnhardt Jr. So yeah, I'm a little pissed about the Washington fans losing to a subpar team. We had far more talent. We let a quarterback make him look like a freaking hero, and he won't. We blew it. Right before the first half ended, we had a 14-7 lead, and the defense let them drive every freaking game. third down, I don't care if it's 3rd and 5, 3rd and 10, 3rd and 15, you let them convert and move the freaking chains to score the game. You know, with less than a minute and a half left and they're driving, we got to hold here and stop and get the ball back. Even a freaking field goal. Because if you hold them and we get the ball back and we run the clock out in the first half, we got a 7-point lead. Knowing they're getting the ball first in the second half. It's just terrible, man. I'm tired of my guts being pulled out for this team because of piss poor coaching. Lack of fan support, supporting another ragged ass franchise. Losing the freaking losers who are here we got rid of. That includes you too, freaking Ron. And Marty Herney, you freaking meatball eating son of a bitch. So, lo and behold, am I pissed because we lost 27-21? Yes. Because in my opinion, I would have loved for Cam to have been able to move down and lead us in another drive and scored and won the game. But it shouldn't have been that way. The defense should have got off the field a few more times, limited a couple of scores, or at least one score. Our offense could have had more opportunities to have scored again. Now we're 5-6, and we got Miami next. Good freaking luck. Okay, folks, what do you think of today's video? Are you as pissed as I am? Did you think Cam had a good game? Who do you think stuck up the joint? Leave me some comments. I love the dialogue. Hit that bell notification to be notified of future videos on the Panthers. Smash that like button. Above all else, folks, it's free. Subscribe. Help Uncle Chucky. We'll see you next time on another episode of Carolina Sports Guy.